battle bus is here, though. It is underway, and game number 1 of the FNCS qualifier week 2 is here, and we're in for 6 rounds of Fortnite. We know it's gonna get good.
We know it's going to get good. We know it's going to be intense here today. We've had some teams jump through, some people trying to look to make their way up the leaderboard, and this map shot is going to be so exciting because that's it. There's so many question marks, Monster. I would love to tell you guys who is now going Craggy, who is now going to be going to Sweaty Sands that Clicks, Booga, and Bizzle aren't here, but I just don't even know yet. One thing I do know that I'm watching out for that Vivid touched on in the pre-show a bit too, Chap, his pick is contested yet again at Steamy Stacks. I know one of those 6 little triangles is going to be Chap. Looks like we got 2 teams at Pleasant Park as well. Very questionable there. Your pick, Jack, Acorn, Slacks, looking really, really good at the moment. Sorry, I think we had Reese's pick, Jack, Acorn, and Slacks looking really good. It looks like uncontested Slurpee, so things are changing up. I see no one at Stealthy Stronghold. That is very, very big.
Yeah, and basically no one landed in the Hydro either, so you can see there's teams looking inward saying, hey, wait a second, there's going to be some real estate up for grabs, if you will. You can see the Stronghold, like you said, not really being contested and whatnot. The Coral Castle area up above also being uncontested, so there's going to be a lot of players on the map here to get comfortable. C-Plate, someone who's been really performing well under solo conditions, now looking to see how he's going to be able to play his hand over on trios. Take a look here. Blake and company are being contested at the drop, so Okis and Ronaldo, we saw them play last week, some heartbreaking turnarounds as far as their team goes, but this time around they're trying to change up the narrative.
Yeah, and this is a fight that has had a long narrative. These two teams have been going toe-to-toe, head-to-head every day in scrims for weeks now. This will be Blake, Okis, and Ronaldo going toe-to-toe with Frat, Snake, and Polarized. The Polarized team has been going here since the very start. And it's an interesting fight. It's very delineated. It's very cut down the middle. We get this half of Pleasant. You get that half of Pleasant. And honestly, I want to say Ron's team actually gets advantage with the loot. But I think Polarized team has the match as far as fighting skills as Who Fishy, Tabs, and Joji. I'm gonna let you take this one, Monster, because you had a lot of confidence in these guys.
Hey, listen, I love rooting for Who Fishy. Always finds his way to these grand final stages, but more importantly, ranks his way up to the top 10. Now, all he's missing is, I'd say, is a championship belt or 2, right, to really propel him up to the next level, to the next stratosphere, if you will. But he's here. He's a contender, and he is here to play. Take it out, Paper. Paper last season, landing at the Steamy Stacks, giving teams their run for their money. Now switching it up, playing his hand in Coliseum, not finding any luck. And that's a quick wrap-up, right? Look, 2 teams already fully wiped out of the competition. That's big for a game 1. That's big for NA East.
That's a very scary team to fight as well. Nosh, Paper, and Jamper are a very, very good team in a fight that is very awkward. I particularly don't like fighting in Coliseum. A lot of weird archways, positions where you can't build walls, you can't hide behind. But if you're a good team, you can wipe it out. And I asked, who is going to be going Craggy? It looks like it's Craggy Cartoon is going to be holding down Kanata, Macwood, and Bucky's spot.
And it looks like things might be going back and forth here. This Cartoon's trying to hide out low, trusting Tieko, looking for an angle on the side. It's a bit of a pinch situation. They don't see Cartoon down below. Never mind. He does get caught out, and now Kippett's looking for the angle. This might be a good time. Ooh, I was going to say, to hit that shot. You can see the angle was clear. Almost had a small opportunity to take advantage here. But again, it's a bit of one of those stalemate situations in these early game instances. If you don't get close and personal, I mean, everyone's slowing down. No one's getting the loot advantage at this point, right? Especially if you didn't land at the big main building. They definitely don't have the shield advantage at that point.
No, yeah, if you can kind of use those barrels, especially as an entire team, it gives you so much economy on the shield. You don't have to then use any of the shield you find. They do have a decent zone. It's not too far away, so they can take this fight a little bit longer. But, I mean, just look at the loadout. It tells the story you need to be told. Even if you win this fight, what are you walking away with? And that's what today's going to be interesting about as we see Tycho or Tieko gets, I believe, potentially sniped. I don't know how they would have got knocked that quickly on the high grounds. Maybe from another team. And, yes, it is actually another team potentially up on the hill. They're breaking out. I see that little yellow triangle up near the kind of radio tower hill you have here on the edge of Craggy. It's a scary spot to be, and it has a massive amount of elevation. Craggy gets to have that long, prolonged fight. It's kind of, you know, it's up against the coast. It's hidden underneath the hills. But if someone gets on top of one of those hills, you have big sidelines, and they get wiped off this one. So Kibbitz and Krusty now have to run because this other trio hears that. They see that in the feed, and this is their green light to go.
Yeah, and that was Degen, Aegis, and Skittle. They have a split drop over on that side. They control all of that area, and you can tell that the teams here are just not used to the way Degen and Aegis play their split, they will always go to that mountain face, always look for the shots here. That's their Storm Surge strategy, and you're seeing how it's going to play out into this game. Cartoon on the other side, now trying to take advantage of this. They are doing just that. They're definitely pushing in. A 3v2 situation can go bad really quickly, and there it is. Clean, quick cleanup.
It is Degen, Aegis, and Skittles trying to play spoiler. They come in for an even cleaner quick up as they're kind of making their way down the edge there, but I don't know if they're going to close this one out. Okus falls here, so we have our first player to fall in this fight right now. Blake is on the back foot. Ronaldo is nearby as well. What can Blake do? He has the green lever action shotgun in the back pocket, needs to do something big with it. This is a scary team to try and fight. Like I said, the loot disadvantage kind of not really going in Polarized favor because they are such good fighters, though. They don't need to get more of the loot at this drop. They really do back themselves to win these ones. Unfortunately, Okus going down, which is a big chunk of the firepower for this team. Ronaldo now falls. It's down to Blake in a 1v3, and I think Pleasant Park may have been won here in round one, but we'll see.
Bueno, aquí estamos
Blake
viendo
has done
a
crazy things
Elite.
in his illustrious career here.
Ahí está,
Battle Polarized, though, as healthy as he is going to go in the box, take a challenge, Blake gets wiped up, cleaned up, and taken out of the competition. Back to the lobby. They go back to the drawing board. They'll have to hit. On the outskirts, though, there is a team coming in now. You can see those cursors moving in pretty quickly. They're looking. They're not too sure. They could be a team that's actually down a member. See how this ends up playing out. Dangerous position to be in, though. They're in a bit of a shambles situation, if you will, right? Just look at the loot, look at the ammunition. It's not fantastic by any means. They spent so much time here. Luckily, though, the zone is on top of them.
Yeah, looks like they're going to back off there. I like the strategy, kind of come in, have a look around, what's going on, how healthy are they, were there any knocks? I'm pretty sure they would have got sightlines on all three players live and thought, hey, this isn't our chance. We're going to have to back off, walk away from this one as exactly as I called it. Aegis, Degen, and Skittles did push down from that split like you talked about, and they are trying to close this one out. Craggy Cartoon full. It's Peterbot and Craggy Coder, and this is looking really, really good for my prediction this week because they are uncontested. You talked about a monster. One of those issues is usually you can't get your Storm Surge, but looks like they found their strategy. As we have a quick stat, 12 of the teams today competed in round 4 of Qualifier 1, so we've got, just under half the lobby showing up here again this week.
Yeah, definitely making a return appearance here today to get that good practice and the best that you can find in the scene. Put yourself in these kind of intense situations against other best. Peterbot, though, and no, the tracking just wasn't good enough there. He gets bested in a 1-to-1.
Mataron a Fe de Gon también, queda solo un trío. Bueno, queda solo un trío. Fe 5, bueno, FPS sigue vivo.
That'll give
F5
them
de
a
Gon.
lot of time back on the clock here.
And 8 points. Remember, this format is different. If you're used to the previous FNCS iterations or the rounds before,
A ver, ahí están las cosas.
eliminations in round
Esta
4
no
are
vamos a
worth
meter
2
igual,
and
pero
a
es
win is
una
worth
cosa
30. So
esta
it's really
temporada.
rewarding those
Ahí
players
se están
who can
peleando
take
dos.
out the best of the best. It's not the same as playing in a round 1. You are versing the best pros in NA East. If you can wipe a trio, you're rewarded.
Yeah, here we watch Acorn, Jack, and Slacks against what I'd say is one of those dangerous up-and-coming trios right here. Tabney on the other side of the wall. Chimp there as well. Chimp being one of the more dangerous ones alongside Tab. Tab's been on fire lately, taking any and all kinds of tournaments that he can participate in. Let's see if he can make his way to grand finals. This is a big opportunity for him in his career now. And this is a storm fight. This is a messy fight going deep into the
Ahí
zone.
3 tiros peleando.
Yeah, this is a
Uno,
messy one.
dos.
No one you really want to be
Ahí
taking. It looks
G2,
like Jack, Acorn, and Slacks chose to
y
take this fight. And looking at
ya,
the loadout,
ahí
maybe
están
that's why.
peleando.
4 floppers, they have
Los
plenty of time to
clasificados
play
en la
this one
FNCS.
out. But you don't really want to be going through them
Ahí
too
está.
early in these fights. But Jack,
Bajan a
Acorn, and
pelear.
Slacks going way
Spamean,
back. We
spamean.
talked about it. They're one of the
No
teams
van a dar
like
ninguna bala.
Degen, Aegis, and Skittles have been playing together for
Ahí están
multiple
peleando, se
FNCSs
queda un
now.
trío,
They have such
ganan,
good
lo matan,
They have such good
le mata
chemistry.
uno,
As you
faltan
can see,
dos,
backing each
26
other
a
up.
1.
All 3 inside the box,
Rematan
closing this fight
a
out
uno,
potentially
ahí
as quickly as they
spameando
can,
a otro,
just going
y
for it, not
ganará.
even stopping to use any of these meds.
Ahí
monster,
está,
just going up and
quedó
taking the fight,
representando.
backing themselves to
Ahí,
win it.
ahí
As
está,
this one's
ahí,
now going to be
como
start
que
burning
baile
through the
high.
material, not just the meds here. As looks like we're going up to the sky.
Yeah, that's
Ahí
Chimp
está,
on the run
no
right
tiene
now,
vida, se
trying
está
to
con
get
los
away. Like I
peces.
said, he's one of the more dangerous
Baja,
ones when it
baja.
comes down to this
Se
trio.
ve que tiene
He's the
gente ahí.
firepower of
Quedan
the group.
dos,
He's the clutch
queda
factor
uno.
when it comes down to those final moments. But
Ahí que
what
si
can
Boy
you
se
do
muere,
against an
gana
elite trio like
a la
Acorn,
batalla y ganó
Jack, and
el
Slacks
equipo
are
de
just going to clean up house.
G2
That's a
Hesi.
3
Pero se va a poner difícil porque están
elimination
en zona y no
swing there for them.
no
And let's
tienen
not
vida.
forget they land
Después se van a encontrar con
uncontested down to their
otro
drop spot.
trío
So this is a
en el
rotate that they're
mapa.
going to make
Bueno,
time
dos
and
tríos,
time again.
bueno,
If
sí,
it's not
dos
here
personas se van a
keeping woods,
encontrar.
if it's not
Realmente
there,
un
it's
poquito
Hydro
difícil
Dam, and
porque
they're not
conocer
going
que
to the
se va a
Hydro
quitar
Dam,
otro
I'll tell you
trío.
that. So,
Y ganará.
they're going to constantly swing off this way. You got to move sooner if you want to avoid them.
Yeah, look at the meds they had as well. They're going to get the med kit. They've got the splashes. They've got everything they need to take this fight. And now they have all their Storm Surge as well. But coming on this next edge is going to be very, very difficult. They are really kind of coming in on that congested side where everyone's getting pushed in. So this first rotate to the zone, obviously looking pretty good. They've cleared out any team that was here. But it's the next rotate you have to focus on because you got teams exactly like this set up on this one. And I think I feel bad. I'm going to apologize to you guys at home. We didn't yet mention how impressive it is that we have Zexo, TSM Zexo, back here in round 4. Obviously, he was pretty vocal about taking a bit of a break from the game, just stepped away from competitive for a little bit. First time kind of back here properly playing with a new team, and he makes round 4.
Son españoles o algo así, pero creo que sí son buenos. Ok, van a estar bro. Ahí están quedando cambiando.
Listen, he's put together, actually, a band of misfits, right? Players that haven't quite found a home yet with trios. And Glace has been one of those players that he's been jumping from team to team wherever he can get in on and finding success as well. So with Glace and Zaxro, now you have Chaotic coming in here, really gelling well, really finding some success.
Yeah, really finding a lot of success. Yeah, 100% credit to that team as well. They've gelled together so quickly, and we're seeing that. I can't believe the ability that Fortnite players have, pros especially, to form teams last minute and still perform. I mean, straight away, Benji, Fishy, Maxwell, and Amplify come to mind. Coming second today in round 4 in EU. They formed within the last 7 days. That is just on a whole nother level of impressive how fast they can gel together. But it shows that... Skittles, they've played multiple FNCSs. Really, if you get 3 good teams and they mesh well together, you can perform very well with a short amount of time.
You know, that's the thing about Fortnite. It's all...
Ok, necesitan encontrar rápido gente para darles una bala. La hierba pasó. Oh, no, le dieron el
paso. Make good decisions and take the right fights, have the right strategy in place. Speed, XF, and Knife only 57 above the surge. These tags are going to be crucial to keep them alive in the later stages of the rounds, especially now as we get deeper and deeper into the zone. Saw their Devourer
extra
taken out
contra
in the feed. These are a couple Katsu players, by the way.
Miren, 3-3 peleando ahí. Spamea. Abrir, no puede. Hay 3-3 ahí.
You know, Katsu.
Spamea el de 96, le quita 96. Spamea otro, destruye eso. Mata uno, destruye otro, destruye otra cosa. La tormenta los agarra y no pueden salir de ahí. Pelean, spamean, le das 94 y de 96 se mata uno, lo matan. Ahí peleando, está tocadísimo. Quedan 2, quedan 3. Bueno,
Life's team, no stranger here to round 4. They played last week, performed really, really well. Didn't get inside that top 10, but with now making round 4 again, they're looking really good on consistency. Not as much pressure on this team as others to make it into top 10 today, but it still looks like they're playing go big or go home, because that was an aggressive fight that went in their favor, but they're pretty deep in Storm.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And it's one of those things, right? You need to practice under those circumstances. What do you do when you're just above the surge threshold? Do you wait it out and play the risk game, or you just take the fight with the nearest team? This time they take the fight, they come out successful, but to what cause? They're still inside the zone right now. Really greed up all the extra loot. You can see the mound, that little sand mound here is actually perfect for XF, who can keep a low profile. From Slash and Jaku, just looking inside to try and find some tags. But again, this biome, perfect for these late rotators, perfect for them to get under.
In the middle of the map, it feels a little bit more, I don't want to say vanilla than the mountain and water zones, because there's actually so much to play with. Those 0-point rocks, the sand rotators, all the stuff that's highlighting how phenomenal this new season is when it comes to the mid and even end game rotation. Sand rotates end game kind of feel like a big throwback to the baller meta. You kind of get in, you hide, you try to roll around in the sand, stay down there as long as you can and get good positioning. And in trios, I love the fact that it gives people an opportunity to kind of play a bit better as a solo or duo. It gives you some kind of opportunity, because in this meta, with very variable rotation, you have no shockwaves, no crash pads, no risks. You need to get around the map somehow when you're not a full trio, and it just lends itself to do that. But these Colosseum endgames, we saw a few of them actually yesterday, Monster, OCE. They're always so exciting because it's almost like a mountain zone in the sense that you get pinned up against the Colosseum. It's one of very few structures in Fortnite you can't build through, you can't break through. It is indestructible, and it makes some of these positions great, but it can also be a curse if you get on the wrong side of it.
Yeah, and look at the hold here, the split from Tabs G on the right side and then Joji on the left. I didn't catch where who Fishy was, but you can tell they are dominating the entire upper ring of the Coliseum. And just getting a bit of a flashback to last week when we saw teams based up on the Coliseum. Oh yeah, who Fishy is actually at the other pillar, so they have eyesights and eye lines on every lane possible. But I was just gonna say, I was gonna flashback to Calculator Sebi and his crew holding up and basing up. Seems like they didn't rotate here this time, but like I said, they qualled through, right? So again, since they're not in this week, it's gonna really shake up things. Right? It's gonna change how the dynamic of these games play out.
There's a very good chance that's not a coincidence as well. You go back and you look at what the good teams did, right? If a team came top 10, what were they doing? How did they see that consistency? Because Furious Calc and Sebi came second last week. That is a team that you look up and potentially, that's where Who Fishy's learnt this strategy. They're setting up on the edges of Coliseum when they get a center zone. And the way they did that split, that's almost guaranteeing if they get a half-half or a good zone, they have high ground. And that's one of the most important zones to get right now with that lack of mobility. As Jack, Acorn, and Slacks made their rotate. Obviously, that fight at Logjam didn't put them too far behind. They made it in easy. I questioned how they were going to make that next zone rotate, but they are competitive veterans for a reason.
Yeah, look, they're trying to flush a player out of the layer here so that they can get their sand rotates. I'm assuming perfectly clear here. Again, they have a decision to make. The longer they wait, the more risk that's involved here. And there it is. They're going to go ahead and go for it. Acorn's going to be the last to exit. He's going to hold the edit, and there it is. Jack and Slacks jump underneath. They're gone.
Very interesting. It's a great strategy as well. You can take a bit of damage while in the sand. The sand will take some damage before it kind of knocks you out, and that doesn't go to your health pool as well. So, great way to take maybe one.
No hay ningún español.
You don't want to take too much.
A ver,
you don't want to get too focused. The biggest risk with the sand is that time spent once you jump out. It's when you can't pull out your weapons. Acorn and Slacks use that time well, base up in the metal. And if you're a new to competitive Fortnite or potentially been playing for a while, wondering why they're set up where they are here, they wanted to set up on the edge of our fourth zone here to make sure they get a chance at fifth zone. This is the one zone you don't want to go center at. Half this zone is going to go out into the storm, and half of it is going to be in the existing area. It's the first zone that does that. So previously, most people trying to rotate to the center. This is the one zone where you don't want to be in the middle. You want to ensure you're on the edge to potentially get that half-half, and that's where you're going to see these big clustering of teams like you're seeing around the bridge here, like you're seeing with Threats, Chaff, and Dukes.
Yeah, and this is the pick from Vivid, of course, leaning into his fellow brother in arms here, Chap, on the other side. They're doing pretty decent. Chap put together a fresh trio for this go-around here. We talked about what he's done with these new teams, these new pickups, right? Really finding
el trío, TRNL, Trezap, porque TRNL y Zap ahí, spameando, con la skin de Street Fighter. ¡Oh, no le mete el sniper! ¡Mátalo a Duque Fene! ¡Mátalo a Duque Fene!
Snipe shot he gets rewarded with from Suscript way down the barrel there.
Way down the barrel. That's an unfortunate one. Luckily, they're in their full base of hard mats. They can get through the revive. It's not too big of a deal. And look at Tabs, Too Fishy, and Joji. You called. That's a great spot to be set up. If they manage to get half-half, no, they don't. It pulls across. And that's pulling across what we like to call their side of zone. That's where less players rotated in because it's on that dirty dock side. Not many people over there. Not too many zones pushed up into this area. You see that kind of southwest section where everyone is. And now they've got to make the big rotate. Is it going to be with the 0 points? Is it going to be the sand? Are you just going to run it? Right now, we are going to see
tenés lane, mató a
and this is going to clear the lane faster than what you normally expect. A lot of people are going to be in the open very, very soon.
CG remató a Elite Coraus.
It's all going to play out, and now you get the wide shot. Who is left down in the backside? Durant, Pose, and Nani down, 2 down now, and they're pinched between Chop, Dukes, and Threats, who might be looking to turn around and take advantage of this to get the rotate out. Knife or Spade and Except the one's putting that pressure on. On the other side, though, DJ and Aegis look like they have secured the high ground, and it seems like they fought it out from the hands of Ackerman, Frat, and Polarized, who are now based up and going back down the catacombs here. So a little bit of a back and forth situation going down on this side of the map. So many players still have to migrate here, though.
And that's what you like to see on my prediction, doing well. That's where you want to be, on top of high ground, on half-half. If they now get the first rotating zone, which is the next one, that's the first zone that goes completely out into the storm, that starts moving, they're in such a good position. This is one of the most determining factors when it comes to, win rate and just performance in tournaments. If you can predict or if you can move or put yourself in a position to take this high ground on the half-half zone. If you then get lucky enough with that first
Aquí
rotating,
FPS
really big. And I'm noticing the
haciendo
bounce pads in the back.
FPS
And
de
that's what you
vienen
need. A
con esos
recipe for
puntos
success
en el
when
high.
it comes to holding this high ground. If zone now pulls all the way across towards the
Costumbre
Colosseum,
para que no
they
le
can
quiten el
hopefully
high.
bounce pad and then build up on top of their high ground. You don't have the material economy these days with only, 1,500 material each to be able to build the entire zone. As I say that, though, looks like DJ disagrees with me. He's doing the big top towards the next zone, and they have no intention of giving this up.
Yeah, not only that, and James was also letting things up in the feed. And as I say that, his teammate goes down. Seems like TK was picked off by Skittles from up above. That's going to be terrible for the Kansu boys trying to do something big here. But they've picked up a lot of elims, and so has Skittles. Skittles at 3 eliminations already. This is unprecedented for a high ground team now. 5 elims coming into that Zone 6 first full. Moving is a perfect situation to be in. They're not strapped for points here. They're not strapped for elims. They're going to be big vibing here. If they can get a win now, Ozzy, that's going to be the perfect situation.
Perfect situation at all. Like, it looks like because it's quite a wide top, but it's really not. When you think about those mid-ground teams, you're looking at Aggro right now. Every square he moves forward, he's having to build a full box around him. Right now, DJ and Ages and Skittles, they're not even building full boxes. It's usually just 1, maybe 2 layers to keep them up, and no one's looking to take it. We don't have any sights on the RPG. You talked about it, Monster. No one went Hydro Dam at the start. That is one of the biggest factors for taking high ground or disrupting high ground, and we haven't heard or seen it at all. This could very well be a phenomenal first game for DJ and Ages and Skittles, because unless someone makes a big play beneath them, I'm looking at those teams on second height. I see Jelty's team in there. I don't know what anyone's going to be able to do.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and we're going to see it, though, on the low ground. Chap, exactly where he likes to be, his comfort zone. Down at the bottom here where Dukes and Threats really trying to push players out, take control of the spacing here, and keep his teammates in healthy positioning. Now, trying to rotate through. These are all old builds, back into some enemy tarps. Oh, gosh. This is all kinds of messy here, but he's going to make it work even through the bridge. Threats is going to be leading the rotate through, and now Chap has to make the decision. How do you catch up to your boy? Another layer change. Back down he goes. Threats gets taken out from being by himself in the front, but Chap's turn to take over now. He needs to lead his team to this endgame.
He's leading really well in that sense. Thresh did a great job to kind of take over the top there when Chap had to start stopping and healing. Took a few ticks of Storm, but it was well worth it to get back on front side. They have lost Threats, but Dukes and Chap back together. That's more than enough they need. They've still got the splashes. Things are looking good. They want to get in that top 3 monster. We talked about it. That's where all the placement starts to go. Almost half the placement points in this format is in the top 3. That's what they're playing for. So you're looking for those full teams that are still alive to make that position. But Chap's got his team on a really good layer right now as the damage comes out. The only problem is that's it. They drop down. They're getting closer and closer to second height to our team on the high ground as Dukes picks up another elimination in the feed, but falls, unfortunately. It's all down to Chap now, the competitive red. And he goes down, unfortunately. Ryu has fallen as we've still got Skittles, DJ, and Ages firmly rooted on high ground, but D-Roller and Clash just beneath them, and a very scary team that could potentially make a play for this.
Yeah, no doubt. A couple big names still in. Narwhal's going to find Slacks there.
Bueno,
Ager's still
gente,
picking
nos
others
vemos en el
up
próximo
in the
directo
feed as
que me
Clash
cuadré en
is
5
completely
meses.
finished
Entonces,
out
bye
from a
bye.
knock body.
Nos vemos en el
And it's
próximo directo.